Hi there, Ian from What Odds Autos, and it's mid-March here in southern Ontario, so the snow is mostly receded. So I decided on this nice bright Saturday afternoon I'd take a walk around and show you some of the stuff that I got hanging around here. So I'm just behind the fence here on the property. Actually, my daily driver is just hanging out there. That's my beater 07 Pontiac G5, Cobalt, whatever. It's a G5. So this was the truck I was talking about my earlier videos. This is the 03 GMC Sierra Denali Quadra-Steer. It's been sitting here since November, the last round. It's a 6-liter. It's just finally got back at this yesterday doing an oil change on it. There's some pretty noisy neighbors up there. Yeah, it's goose season. So, looking at this truck, had it almost 3.5 years, done a pile of work on it. Unfortunately, body work isn't one of it. As you can tell, it has the usual crustiness. Chassis is not too bad. Interior, see, I got all that apart. I'd actually swapped the console for an SLT one because the Denali one was just terrible. Very little storage. I got some other work to do. Got the door panels off. They need some refurb. Guys, give it a break. Anyway, mirrors are off because they were the power folding factory ones, and unfortunately they don't do either. So I got some new tow mirrors on the way. It came with a 3-piece tonneau, which is nice. And the way to tell these quad steer trucks is that they have the flared rear fenders, which looks a bit like half a dually. I don't know if I'm going to try and get a shot under here, but under here is the quad steer axle. I actually swapped that out last fall and painted it up. That's my donor truck I had. The original axle is under here, and the reason it's under here is because I'd swapped never mind. I'd swapped to go to a 410 from a 410 stock to a 378, I think it is. I'm trying to do it from memory. Anyway, so that's the same ratio that's used in some of the 2500s and also in some of the SUVs. So I put in because the front diff was pretty much gone on this one. It's got just under 300k on it. That's 1,000 kilometers. I changed out, I put a 04 Yukon front diff in it, and the two-wheel drive quad steer truck I had, same axle, had the 3.89, that's what it is, and put that in. But what I didn't know was that the axle had some damage to the diff, so I'm going to have to do some work on that. My 64 Corvair Monza 4-door. It's a Power Glide, 110 horsepower, amazingly original car. Canadian built car. I've got all the info on it from GM Historic Group, that it was built on April 1st, 1964 in Oshawa, Ontario, and was delivered to Kingston, Ontario. And according to the paperwork I got it, when I bought it from a gentleman in near Brighton, Ontario, I am the second owner of this car. So imagine that, something from 1964. This car is a year older than me, and I am the second owner. Incredible original interior on it. It does need a floor. Yeah, they all do. But complete. The owner's manual and even the battery warranty registration was in this car. A couple of minor tears in the driver's seat, but the rest of it, amazing. The back here, and see, the headliner isn't too bad either. And this one, let me go across here, it's got a Power Glide. It has 64594. Hopefully that's the first time around. Looks like it. This one has the padded dash. Cracking there. It has an enormous rearview mirror for some reason. But you know, other than the door cards aren't great, I have some from a 63 that might work. It's amazingly complete. It also has some really scary Bondo and a repaint. So this one actually took a hit there. There's also the usual crustiness around the eyebrows. I know you're home. Good for you. Good for you. Anyway, got some rust there. Somebody had put a plate across it. And usual little bits from dirt and whatnot being flung back into the pockets there because there's no fender liners in these cars. The side's a little better. Yeah, doors, yeah, a little bit. Not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, so there's body work to do, but it's not a big deal. Trim's all there, which is amazing. And even though I have the number, I haven't run all the numbers yet, but I'll have to see if this is the original engine. Unfortunately, this engine was free and turned over, but my unfortunately ham-fisted attempts to get it going, it looks like there was an issue with oil flow and it's stuck. So I may be screwed in that way, but it's going to have to come out anyway, that and the power glide, so that's cool. But the Canadian trim tags are actually different than the American ones. And I actually have an example of an American one here. And as you can see, it has a fully ventilated battery container. That's great. There were some new parts with it, but yeah. So I have taken a bunch of stuff off and it's stored in the front trunk or frunk. And so this is a project that has been waiting for this to get finished. Hopefully this will be the summer. So next up, since I don't have a shed, or I have a shed but not a shop per se, I got a pile of stuff here. This is mostly scrap from the truck. There's an MP261 transfer case which turned out to be a total piece of crap. The old front axle. I got some stuff under here. I wish I could remember what it was. Here's some Corvair suspension bits, some 64, some bits from the 61. I've got the original transfer kit, well, not original, the interim transfer case from my truck, which is an MP149 all-wheel drive. Got to engine lift a few things, and what I got here under this is another Corvair 64 110 engine. This was from a 500 coupe that I was given because it was like, come get it, because it had broken in half. It was so rusty, and the previous person was hoping to use it or rehab it, and it ain't happening. So luckily my brother, almost 2 years ago, and actually it was the weekend after, we picked up the 64 here, and we went out to get that, so that was pretty cool. And even though it was an absolute eyesore and mess, I actually cut away the body of that car, what was left of the body, because it had broken in half. The owner had actually removed the center section, cut the roof off, and made one car, he'd actually made 3 pieces out of it. So we brought the halves back here, much to the chagrin of my brother-in-law and landlord, and I tore it down, and a lot of those pieces went in my shed here, which itself was salvaged from an area over the back of my yard that used to flood so much, and this was actually completely flooded a couple of days ago. So in my shed I have a drill press, I have a shop press there sitting on a vertical lift that actually Ed from Slow Car Fix had suggested for lifting a Corvair engine, raising and lowering Corvair engine. I have a bunch of boxes here, which are on this side is mostly Corvair bits and some other things. I got some GM parts in the back there for the truck, and someday I will find this workbench. Out here, you go, what the heck is that? Well, that is actually another Corvair body. And I'll insert some pictures of what it looked like. That looks like a Corvair bushing. Bushing. Okay. Under this is the body of a Warren, Michigan built 64, actually the equivalent of this car here. It was a 64 Monza sedan, and I got this one for free too. The shell had pretty much been stripped, and that was because the roof had completely rotted and the floor as well. But there's actually some good external sheet metal on it that I can use for my car. So because it was taking so much room in the yard, actually I cut it in half. I'll put some pics into that. Cut it in thirds actually. So that's basically the front and the back pointing straight up in the air. And over here I have the floor section of the 64 and a door pillar. I actually sold part of a door pillar to a guy. And the two doors from the 64 coupe, which are toast. And what I really need to do is take the glass out of them, because that's about all that's left. The glass and the regulators are about all that are left in that. And the reason I kept the floor was because my car has some issues back here with rust, but this one actually isn't too bad. So I'm not sure if I can either use this as a pattern for repairs or actually parts to use for repair. So even though there was quite a bit of rust on this one, there's actually maybe some bits, and it's also given me a really good guide onto how these are put together. And actually cutting apart the two-door really showed me some areas that you don't normally see on these cars, such as inside the cowl, above the gas tank, that kind of thing. Areas that you just don't normally see. So I don't have kids, so this old play structure is now part storage. And again, my brother-in-law, oh, hang on. Oh, I might need that. Yeah, if that's the left front, I'm going to need that. But anyway, I have some Corvair bits here. Little bits on the nose. That's from the two-door. A little bit of the, yeah. And the doors from the four-door. There is some rust in that one, but I might have to use that front door in mine. I'm not sure yet. There's a couple of bumpers. I've cut out a dash. There's a bit of a cowl. Actually, a lot of this is really, you know, not useful. I mean, I got to be realistic about it. But I'm going to have to go through that, straighten it out. And up here I have my tire storage, and this is actually the original spare from the Corvair, and it was Canadian built. And this tire is, I don't know if you can see it or not, but apparently it was made by a company called Dominion Royal Safety 800. And I think I read that they were in Hamilton. So I'm not 100% sure if they were OE on the Canadian Corvairs, but anyway, that's what was in it. And it's a bias ply. I don't think is it a bias ply? No, I think this car was supposed to have come with radials. It says 2-ply though. 6.5 13. So the tires that I did put on my 64 that I got from Tire Rack in the States, and you see all the mud here because of course this yard becomes like the La Brea tar pits when it's wet. And these are Kumo Solus, and they're 185 70-13s, which is about as close as I could get. So they're a little shorter than the stock ones. But, and of course I got a trunk full of parts. But that's what I'm looking at. So basically my near term is to get this thing on the road again. Once I get the, I have to actually, hopefully do a video on it. I have to take the differential carrier out of the axle under there, which is the 410, and swap the ring gear with the 378 or 76, whatever, on this one, and put it in. But getting the hubs off in this is a total, I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway, it's a Dana 60, a modified version that was built specifically for them. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So that's about it for my little look around, what I've got here, what I'm thinking of doing. So I really want to get this rig back in the road. Whether I keep it or not, I don't know. We'll see. I've had it for almost 4 years, but it has spent 3 winters off the road for various mechanical reasons. And then of course there's the Corvair back there that has been waiting almost 2 years to get done. So there will be videos on that. There will be more videos on this. And like, subscribe, share. Hopefully I'll get some more material that will actually be interesting. You never know. Anyway, thanks folks.